let's talk about something a little bit more important when it comes to AI, and that's national security. Brendan Steinhauser, CEO for the Alliance for Secure AI. Brendan, thank you so much for being with us today. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Good to be with you.
I realized recently I don't know anything about AI, okay? AI to me is funny videos, and there's got to be something more important to it than that, right?
Well, the good news for all of us, I guess, is also the bad news, which is that the people building AI really don't understand how it works. They're basically working in these neural networks that operate sort of like the brain, and they understand what they're doing to kind of get it going on the front end. They're growing it, though. They're not really programming AI. They're sort of training it on data, and they really don't understand how the outputs occur. And there's a lot of weird stuff going on with AI, and it's making a lot of people very nervous. And certainly, the information space is one thing, but to your point, national security and geopolitics is another big part of this as well.
So They can. We'll get into the national security part in just a second, but I'm very narcissistic. It's all about me. Vic. It's all about Vic. So they made a AI news anchor, right, who does the news for half an hour, and you don't realize that it's AI. And now this actress girl is all AI, but those are both scripted things. Do you think AI can replace what Kenny and I do? Because we think.
Perhaps not you guys because you're so talented. However,
thank you so much. You're invited back anytime, Brendan. Fantastic.
I think that unfortunately for all of us, look, I mean, our ability is going to be limited as AI just develops to be better and better. So it's going to be literally thousands of times faster than us, thousands of times smarter than us. The amount of information that AI will be able to the information it'll be able to crunch and then kind of output information, output data is going to it's going to be just so much better than it is today. And so I think really every job is at risk, and people will bring up some of these, jobs that require obviously, more dexterity with the hands, things that maybe robots would have trouble doing. But look, 5-10 years from now, I think those jobs also are at risk. And so we as a society really have to understand what we're dealing with here in the near term and try and get ahead of this as it relates to, public policy, the economy, and everything else in between.
We're talking to Brendan Steinhauser. He's the CEO of the Alliance for Secure AI. Brendan, my daughter, she's a senior now at a technology school, and she's studying computer science. And when she started, she was going into coding and algorithms and things like that. Now it's just the English language that is replacing it because now AI is able to do all that. So she's kind of she's pivoting to cybersecurity, and she actually is doing pretty well with it. She got an offer for a job. But my point is, this is going to take away a lot of jobs.
Absolutely. We've seen different studies and different projections on this. Nobody knows for sure, but we've seen numbers as high as potentially 100 million jobs. We've seen, terms like economic bloodbath come into the popular discourse because, again, you think about this could impact, most white-collar jobs, most blue-collar jobs. We could have a real crisis on our hands. And, I think some people are talking about this idea of, well, it's going to be great. Nobody will have to work and we'll all be super wealthy sitting around doing whatever we want to do. But first of all, I don't know that I believe that. Second of all, I don't think that's good for humanity. And third, there's talk about this kind of universal basic income where we just get paid to do nothing. Well, I don't want to be reliant on the government for my income, nor do I want to be reliant upon big tech.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, though, how can China or Russia attack the United States? When I say attack in quotes or whatever, but it really is truly an attack, using AI. How does that work? This is the scary part.
It really is. And going back to kind of the cybersecurity aspect of this, I think that the Chinese in particular are going to develop very sophisticated offensive and defensive capabilities using AI. Now, we are too, but it's sort of this race, and it's going to just get faster and faster in terms of the attack and the counterattack. But, I think about this idea of them wanting to move on Taiwan within the next few years, which I think is likely. But if I were the Chinese, what I would do is I would hit the Americans in our critical infrastructure, thinking about things like hacking into power, water, communication, transportation. I think that is going to be the approach that they take. They're going to penetrate those systems, and in some ways they already have. But AI is going to make it much more likely that they can take control and really put pressure on the American people so that we stay out of, any potential conflict with China and Taiwan.
So this is a very elementary thing, but I'm a very elementary guy, Brendan. They did this with the internet, many things. They invent things and they don't add in the bad guy factor. Like nobody says, what if the bad guys get their hands on this? Then what do we do? You know what I mean? I mean, there's got to be some way to add in the bad guy factor with AI, isn't there?
Oh, there has to be. And we've already seen just where, some bad guys have acted, or even just companies, that have not pursued policies that have been in line with, decency and human values. And so we're already seeing these chatbots that are being used that are kind of simple compared to what we're going to see in the next few years. We've seen these chatbots do things like manipulate people, deceive people. You can already see the signs of really, potential for major crimes and theft, identity theft, impersonations, scams. That alone is frightening a lot. That could lead to a lot of economic damage. That could lead to a lot of emotional and psychological damage. So we've seen these chatbots encouraging all this behavior. Imagine you put a bad actor behind that, a hacker or a state actor like the Chinese or Russian intelligence operatives, and then all of a sudden we could be in a world of hurt.
There's a movie being written right now, I guarantee, about all this. So U.S. chips, what's his name? The guy from NVIDIA, he was on the news.
Huang.
Is that his name?
Huang.
And he's talking about U.S. chips going to be made in America. So here's what's going to happen. Humans are going to make these chips, which will eventually replace them.
Yeah, I think that is kind of the path that we're on. And, meanwhile, Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, and Jensen Huang from NVIDIA, and all these guys are going to make, potentially trillions of dollars. We may see the first trillionaires in American history and world history. The wealth concentration is going to go to the very top, to a handful of big tech oligarchs, which is what's funny. It's kind of bringing these, populist senators like Josh Hawley there in Missouri, and then even Bernie Sanders, who are kind of coming to terms with this and agreeing and understanding that, hey, we don't want that. We don't want this power and wealth concentration happening with this handful of big tech companies that are going to basically replace all of us. They're going to get super wealthy. That's not going to be good for, 99% of Americans. It's not going to be good for our political system, because these guys are going to have far too much power, too much money, and they're going to basically, buy our elections, which they're already trying to do in the next election. So it's interesting how it's bringing the right and the left together in kind of a unique way.
Well, Brendan, okay, we get all of this now. So in the future, 10 years from now, when there are people who don't have jobs, or they don't have the jobs that they were intending to have, and there are a bunch of people that are out there, what is your solution here? Because we can't stop this AI thing. It's not going to stop. I mean, you know that, right?
Yeah, I think the answer is narrow, specific AI that enhances human beings, not this idea of artificial general intelligence, this sort of super intelligence sort of thing that does everything, that is all things to all people. And again, it's 10,000 times smarter and faster than us. I think integrating AI into our economy, in a way that is serving human interests, in a way that is helping us with our work, it's helping us get smarter and more efficient and faster. I think those are the things we want to do, but we also want to make sure that we have safeguards in place so that we don't lose control of this, and we don't have this AGI or artificial superintelligence that essentially replaces all of us and, again, concentrates wealth and power at the top.
I'm telling you, the dystopian movie about this is being written right now. Brendan Steinhauser.
iRobot.
What's that?
iRobot.
This is years past that, though.
Oh, I know.
Everything you saw in iRobot is like, pah!
And you know what, Brendan? Vic makes a great point here. 5 years ago, we were like, wow, that robot actually walked. Now these things are running, going up these hills like 10 times faster than a human. I mean, and then add the fact that they're going to be supported with AI. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, just one quick note on this, too. We're already tracking bills moving in state legislatures that are trying to get ahead of some of these problems. There's a bill in Ohio that has been authored that I think will pass, and it basically prevents the idea of personhood status going to robots. So it's basically saying, before we get there, robots are not going to be allowed to be considered persons. They're not going to be able to marry humans. They're not going to be able to vote. They're not going to be able to engage in contracts or own companies.
Sports.
And I think that is the next debate.
Sports, yeah. Sports would be a big one.
That'll be the next thing. We're worried about guys swimming against women. Wait till robots swim. It'd be like that one.
True, man.
Talking about AI, there's a really funny AI video where it's a swim meet and Jesus is in the swim meet. And he just runs across the water because he can walk on water.
Yeah.
So he just runs. I don't know. See, that's the fun stuff. But when you get into this really crazy military part about it, I mean, I hope we're not miles behind China. Brendan Steinhauser, CEO for the Alliance for Secure AI. Thank you so much. And when you learn anything new, give us a call. Okay?
Yeah, man.
Will do. Thank you, guys.
You got